5 reasons why new Muslims embrace Islam. Yes, that is the question we want to know.
In this episode of For All Humans, we look at why people choose to embrace the religion of Islam. The Economist says Britain sees about 5,200 conversions a year, and in America, nearly a quarter of Muslims are converts. Have you ever wondered why? Let me share with you the 5 top reasons why new Muslims embrace Islam. The first reason cited by many converts is their exposure to some aspect of Islamic culture, from architecture to calligraphy to prayer. The solace and tranquility brought by the Adhan, the Islamic call to prayer recited from the mosque to announce each of the 5 daily ritual prayers, has attracted many non-Muslims to Islam. In 2018, the Independent newspaper told the story of a Scottish man who had not actually properly met a Muslim person and who had happened to hear the call to prayer when he was on holiday in Turkey. He said, "It woke something up inside me and it inspired me to begin a spiritual quest." After buying the Quran from a local shop and reading it, he said, "The Quran really shook me. It's quite a scary book to read because it tells you so much about yourself." The Hollywood actor Liam Neeson, after shooting a film in Turkey, describes the call to prayer as the most magnificent wake-up call that gets into your soul.
When he said that.
The second reason people convert to Islam, a desire to establish a spiritual connection and as part of a search for meaning and inner peace. For converts, Islam fills a void in their societies. In fact, the Pew Research Centre found that the top reason for converting was finding more meaning in Islam. An article about the issue in the Huffington Post says converts to Islam are spiritual seekers who are looking for meaning in their lives and better ways to connect with God. Imam Jamal Rahman, in his book Spiritual Gems of Islam, says over the centuries, Islamic sages have gleaned timeless spiritual insights and practices from sacred texts, meditation and knowledge of the heart. New Muslims are motivated to embark on a journey to tap the fountain of Islamic spirituality. Number 3. The rituals of Islam are also another reason people are attracted to the faith. Converts realise that Islamic practices like fasting are a way of achieving self-control rather than a restriction of personal freedom. Yentel, a Belgian Muslim who converted to Islam in 2018, says, "During Ramadan, I feel much closer to God. I feel like I can start anew and that all my sins have been forgiven." Christiane Bakker, the former MTV and NBC presenter who converted to Islam, describes Ramadan as a test of willpower, which is not only a period of renunciation and self-discipline, but also as a process of physical and spiritual cleansing. She says the Islamic fasting month gives her a sense of closer proximity to God. Furthermore, she says, once the 30 days are completed, a certain euphoria sets in. "I feel cleansed, fulfilled and closer to God. It is a wonderful feeling. I wish this high would last forever." At university, Sarah Ager, who was known for her Christian faith and recently converted to Islam, explains, perhaps unsurprisingly, it is during Ramadan, when most Muslims refrain from food and drink during daylight hours, that she appreciates the practical aspects of her faith. Her dress, prayer, routine and the discipline of fasting. She also continues to reflect on Islamic prayer, saying, "The fact that I pray 5 times a day now means I have to stop what I'm doing. Even if I'm grumpy, we pray in a very physical way. You can't just pray in your head. You have to engage physically, having to bow and lean." Number 4 in the For All Humans reasons why people convert to Islam, many attribute their conversion to their search for logical and intellectual answers to theological and life questions. For example, Natalia Darwich, a religious person who is active in her church community in central Switzerland, says she found logical answers to her questions when she came across the Quran. Teresa Corbin, an American writer, describes in her online article for CNN, "I'm a Feminist and Converted to Islam," her experiences. She says, "My journey to Islam began when I was about 15 years old, and I had questions about my faith. The answers from teachers and clergymen didn't satisfy me. As I studied the Islamic faith, I was surprised. Many of the tenets resonated with me. I was pleased to find that Islam teaches its adherents to honour all prophets, from Moses to Jesus to Muhammad, all of whom taught mankind to worship one God and to conduct ourselves with higher purpose." Corbin further emphasises that she was drawn to Islam's appeal to intellect and astounded that science and rationality were embraced by Muslim thinkers, like Al-Khwarizmi, who invented algebra, Ibn Fairness, who developed the mechanics of flight before Da Vinci, and Al-Zawrawi, who is the father of modern surgery. So we've discussed the attraction to an intriguing aspect of the Islamic culture as a cause for conversion to Islam, the search for meaning and a more spiritual path, the fascination with Islamic rituals, and finding logical relevance. The fifth and final reason in our discussion here at For All Humans is the search for community. Many converts speak of the feeling of community that they experience in their journey to Islam. Muslims across cultures are known to be very generous in welcoming people into their society. A representative in the Islamic Centre in the UAE, who oversees many residents becoming Muslims, says, "I think it's because they see the sense of community and they see Muslims fasting and praying," referring to Muslims gathering together to break their fast and to pray during the month of Ramadan. An article in The Economist describes how people can become fed up with lewdness, obscenity and indecency in their societies. They seek a sense of common purpose where Muslims from a variety of backgrounds can come together to form a diverse community which strongly emphasises the notions of decency, morality and modesty.
I'm going to be sharing 5 things that I really love about Islam. Some of you guys have asked, what have I learned? What is it about Islam that really appeals to me? So I just want to take this time to mention just 5 of them. So let's get into it. First thing that I really love about Islam is that there is like a clear-cut understanding of one God. And that God is a being that is outside of all creation. You can't even imagine what this being looks like. There's nothing that is created that we can see and that we can hear, that we can feel, that is like this being known as Allah or God. And that's it. It's clear cut. There's no beliefs or doctrines about God manifesting into different forms and, taking on various different depictions and demigods or anything like that. No, it's just one God, and that is it. The supreme ruler of the universe, unlike any other. Nobody gave birth to God, and God doesn't give birth to anybody. God's not married or anything like that. It's just the supreme being, and that's it. And, I find that Muslims have a very clear-cut understanding of one God, and they're very firm with it. So that's something that I really liked. It's not a confusing definition of God. For somebody looking outside and examining that, it's like, okay, I could roll with that, So yeah, that's one thing I really like. The next thing I really love about Islam, the second thing, is there's a prescribed way to pray. Now, this one was actually really eye-opening for me, because the first thing I hear when I think of prayer is just sharing your thoughts with God, asking God for different things. And in Islam, there are those that is known as dua, but the prayer, it's a different thing, or salat. It's one of the 5 pillars, actually, and there's a prescribed way to pray. So somebody that comes to Islam and they want to know how to pray, there's literally a formula that is followed, and anyone can do that. Literally, it's not complicated at all. Here is the format, and as a matter of fact, there's set times to pray. 5 times a day, you're praying. It really helps Muslims continue to have their mind thinking about God. It's not something that you're like, oh yeah. When I pray, when I get the chance or when I'm in the mood to pray. No, it's literally set times a day. Obviously, there are various different circumstances when it comes to following out the prescribed way to pray, that if you can't meet it based on medical reasons or things like that, there's ways to do the prayer if you're not bodily able to do it. But again, that's just rare exceptions. And also that they have exceptions is a really good thing too. But it's not just that prayer is prescribed and there's a formula that people can follow easily. that's not the only thing I like about prayer in Islam. But what I also really like is that it's an opportunity for people to make sure that they are clean. Because in Islam, you're required to wash yourself, perform ablution, wash your hands, wash your feet and everything. So you're constantly cleansing yourself, cleansing your body. And I think that's a huge benefit, especially when it comes to transmitting various different bacteria or germs that may be on our body. It's a really good hygienic practice as well. Now, the third thing that I really love about Islam is that the Quran, it's in one language and nobody disputes that. It's just there. If it's translated in English, if it's translated in French or Spanish or Afrikaans or Amharic, any language, Korean, Mandarin, it don't matter. You can all go back and reference to one single text in Arabic. Now, I get that there's various different Muslim sects that have certain interpretations of certain passages in the Quran. Okay, that's one thing. But the fact is that there's one source Quran to go back to, and it's written in Arabic, and that's where all the other Quran translations are based on, and they are actually present in the Muslim community. The Quran, they're present there. It's Arabic, and you can check all of them, and they're the same. So that makes it very easy to check the source text, or if there's a certain mistranslation in a certain language, you can always go back and verify in the Arabic language that, is that what it says? Is that an accurate translation? So this is why I found that when Muslims are reading translations of the Quran in English, they don't necessarily call it the Quran. Sometimes, just for the sake of conversation, they say, oh, pass me that Quran. But really what it is, it's a translation of the Quran, because the Quran was revealed in Arabic according to Islam. Yeah, that makes it pretty easy to just verify the source text and double check everything. Just very simple. Number 4 is probably the biggest thing that I love. Well, on the surface anyways, the thing that's most appealing is how willing people are to help you. Like, honestly, Muslims, so helpful. Like, people know that I'm on my journey and I'm interested in learning about Islam. And I can't tell you the amount of DMs and emails that I get on a daily basis of people sending me videos to learn from, sending me resources, sending me passages of the Quran that I should read, just to help me out in learning more. And I know, for instance, if I was to travel to a Muslim country, they're going to be very helpful and supportive to me. I just know that. So I know from Muslims, I can really see that Islam is all about helping others, being of benefit to others, and I really see that every single day. It's actually pretty cool. It's like literally no matter what time of day it is, there's always a Muslim there that's willing to help you learn something new about their religion. They'll get up out of their sleep if they have to help you and assist you. So yeah, I really feel the love, guys, and that's a very big thing that I love about Islam. And the 5th thing that I love about Islam, there are many more things, but just keeping it to 5 for this episode. These are really like the top 5 things that really stand out to me that I love. But number 5 is that Islam offers a very strong and logical, organized train of thought, as well as Islam is self-governing. And what I mean by that is, you take Sharia, for example, there are prescribed rulings that Islam has that you can take them and literally run a community based off of those things. As well as if you ask a certain Muslim why it is that they do what they do, they have a logical train of thought. And you may not agree with the train of thought, but the train of thought is there. And then you say, oh, why don't you do that? Well, ... Oh, how come you do it this way? Well, ... It's very organized and clear cut. Again, it's different from somebody agreeing with it, because people have various different religious opinions and convictions. But what I really found about Islam is that the organized train of thought, it's probably some of the best I've seen as I've taken a look at religions. So I think that's something that Islam does really well, and it's something that other religions can even learn from, or people, organizations even can learn from that. You know, organize your train of thought. Look at the logical train of thought. And yeah, again, that's just something I really love, I really admire about Islam, that they, you know, were able to do that and get that communicated to people. It's pretty awesome, guys. Well, that's it. That's all I really want to say about this one. Thanks for hanging out with me and just listening, hearing my thoughts about the things that I love about Islam, you know, just being able to just open up with you guys. It's been really, really, really awesome now that I started making these videos. You guys seem to really enjoy them, and I enjoy them as well because I get to know you a little bit more, you get to know me a bit more. And I do have to say, you know, whether you're somebody who disagrees with Islam, you know, there's no denying that there are some benefits and certain things that Islam does really, really well. So I just want to take time to highlight them as well and just, you know, speak honestly, speak from my heart.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So today I would like to share 5 habits of ultra successful people. Number 1, wake up early. Successful people absolutely wake up early because the earlier they begin the day, the more time they will have to get things accomplished. Remember, the early birds gets the worm,
as they say.
And it follows, of course, that early birds will also get a good night's sleep. If you find it really difficult to rise, get a super annoying alarm clock that literally forces you out of bed. And also put your alarm across the room. If it's right next to you, you're going to hit the snooze button. So put it on the other side of the room, so you will have to literally get up or jump off the bed to turn it off. Habit number 2, read a lot. Everything you read fills your head with new bits and bits of information, and you never know when these bits and bits might come in handy. The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to tackle any challenge you'll ever have to face. And the more you read, the more words you gain exposure to, and they will inevitably make their way into your everyday vocabulary. Being articulate and well-spoken is of great help. It's an asset in any profession. When you read a book, you have to remember an assortment of characters, their backgrounds, ambitions, history, as well as the various arcs and subplots that weave their way through any story. That's a lot to remember, but our brains are marvelous things and can remember these things with relative ease. Amazingly enough, every new memory you create forges new brain pathways and strengthens existing ones, which assists in short-term memory recall. There isn't necessarily a defined length as to how much time you should be reading or spend reading, but forming a daily reading habit will expand your knowledge and help you on your journey to success, inshallah. Habit number 3, make your health a priority. Healthy habits such as eating well, exercising, and avoiding harmful substances make sense, but did you ever stop to think about why you practice them? A healthy habit is any behavior that benefits your physical, mental, and emotional health. These habits improve your overall well-being and they make you feel so good. Healthy habits are hard to develop and often require changing your mindset. But if you are willing to make sacrifices to better your health, the impact can be far reaching, regardless of your age, sex, or physical ability. Habit number 4. Don't get distracted by what other people are doing. Others' journeys to success can be inspiring. Yes, we can learn so much from their mistakes, their victories, what to do, what not to do. But the minute you start comparing your progress to theirs, instead of using their stories as inspiration, you can start to feel jealous, stressed, and unworthy, inferiority complex. We generally use other people to gauge our success or failure. We all do it, compare ourselves to others, maybe more successful people. Without seeing what others around you have achieved, how else would you know what's possible, right? I mean, in a sense, how else would you know what you can do, right? But as we progress in our careers, that benchmark effect can actually lead one to professional jealousy, which can hamper our own success and lead to unnecessary stress if we let it build up and not address it. So it's important to acknowledge jealous feelings, because the time and energy one expends worrying about what others are doing could and should be put into building our own careers and lives. Successful people realize that their journey is unique and cannot be compared. Therefore, they invest in themselves by keeping themselves focused on their goals, like a horse with blinders on, having only the finish line in its sight. Habit number 5. Keep reminding yourself that your time is finite and limited. This will result in you living each day of yours as your last and working hard day in and day out towards realizing your dreams and leaving behind a legacy where you literally become a legend. Wow. Success includes a journey that is taken one lesson at a time, improved and refined, improved and refined. Successful people move onward and forward in life by facing their next challenge and life lesson. That about wraps today's video. So having said all of the above, let's use these 5 habits as a starting place. Somewhere to start, to build whatever a successful life means to us.
Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. Watoi family, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Mr. Watoi. Today. Hey yo, man, check this out. It's your boy Mr. Watoi, and I got a nice video for you. Because everybody's been asking me, why did you convert to Islam? What was the reasons, Mr. Watoi? Please tell me. Well, I'm about to tell you right now. Hope you guys are ready. Now remember, if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe and join the Watoi family. Also, before we get started, put a like on this video. Remember, if you got a video you want me to react to, get down in the comment section, post the link, and I will get to it. All right, so let's go ahead and go with this. Now, mind you guys, these are not in order. They're not, from the most important to the least important. It's just 5 reasons why I chose to convert to Islam. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. Hold on. Before we get into it, let me say one thing. My background. My religion before, I was Catholic. I was a Roman Catholic. I came from a Nigerian Roman Catholic family. So I grew up as a Nigerian Roman Catholic. I was born in Nigeria. Then from Nigeria, we came over here, and I've been living, in America. Of course, going back and forth from Nigeria and America. But I've been living in America since. So I guess you could say I am a Nigerian, U.S. living Roman Catholic at that time, before I converted to Islam. Now, life as a Catholic, as a sense, was, it was easy in a sense. Just going to church, of course getting baptized, going to, church school, and that was basically it, of course, learning the prayers. And then, yeah, that was basically it, that was basically it, in a sense. There was nothing else after that. So 5 reasons why I chose to convert to Islam. Number 5. The reason why I chose to convert to Islam is because God has no God. That was one thing that I had to understand, that I cannot look at someone and basically a person or a messenger or a imam or a priest or anyone and say that they're God as well, because they're bringing, the word from God in a sense. So that was one of the reasons why I chose Islam, because in Islam, they don't worship any, prophets. They don't call any prophets God as well. They don't call any prophets the Son of God. So that was very important to me. And when I started thinking about it, like, why am I praying to Jesus as a God? It says in the Bible that God said if you pray through Jesus that, it will be answered. But I don't think calling him the Son of God, calling Mother Maryam the Mother of God, that was all confusing. Plus the sign of the cross. It was just a lot going on. So that was one of the reasons why with Islam, they don't do that. That was a big factor for me. Number 4. Number 4, not worshiping any creation from God. So not worshiping anything that was created by God. So not worshiping a rock, or not worshiping a animal, or not worshiping a tree, or not worshiping, things that was created by God, not worshiping those things as far as like aligning them with God in a sense. So that was another thing, because, I've studied other religions, and a lot of other religions take like different, items or things on earth and, worship his God as well. And to me, that was a little bit like out of here in a sense. It wasn't too much like recollecting with me as far as like making me comfortable in the sense that, okay, is that right to be, worshiping this rock or worshiping this animal as if they're God and praying to this animal or this rock or this inanimate object or, just things on earth. Like, why? These are all creations from God. So why am I worshiping it? Number 3, the other reason why is because I've seen how close family is. And when I say family, it's not necessarily your initial immediate family. I'm talking about the ummah in the sense, like the
community,
family,
the Muslim community,
being in a Muslim like environment. The way that when you walk to another Muslim brother, they call you brother. When you walk to a Muslim, a Muslim woman, you call her sister. She's going to call you brother, for me, because I'm a man. So they're going to call you brother, just like you would call them brother or sister. And they will take you in with open arms. Like, guys, I'm going to tell y'all right now, there has not been a time where I needed advice or I needed help with something and I wasn't able to call one of my Muslim brothers and sisters and they was there on a stack, not wanting anything in return, not saying, oh, okay, well, if I do this for you, can you do this for me, kind of thing. Like, it was more so, yeah, let me do that, because that's what Islam teaches. Islam teaches that, like, to help one another and basically don't worry about nothing in return, because at the end of the day, that is all a part of your deeds. That is all a part of the things that you're going to take with you when it's time to answer Allah. So I started thinking about it, like, man, like this is something different. Like, the Ummah is just wow, and then honestly, guys, this was even before I even took my Shahada. I was already amongst a lot of Muslim people and I was already feeling the brotherhood. And mind you guys, I was still a Christian at that time, and it was a lot of love at that time, like, just helping me with things and just being there for me. And I was just sitting there like, man, I ain't never experienced this, like, what I'm saying? And it was different to me. So I was like, wow, I really want to embrace this. And, the day that I took my Shahada, what I'm saying? Like, I got it posted on YouTube. The day I took my Shahada, it was such a bliss. And when I say a bliss, I mean, it was just so free. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was no stress. I felt less stress. It wasn't even that difficult in a sense, because I think I was already Muslim in my heart. So it was just like, yo, I just need to go ahead and let the world know that, Mr. Watwa is a Muslim now. So it was just, it was great, man. It was a very beautiful experience, That was lit, man. Number 2, praying. I mean, the way that we Muslims pray is so beautiful. I'm trying to tell y'all, like, just to be able to say Bismillah and be able to pray with your brothers, shoulder to shoulder, being at the mosque, like, that kind of prayer is different. Like, when I was in the Catholic Church, it was more so you're sitting in a chair, you get up, you sit back down, you get up, you recite a couple of things, you sit back down, then you get on your you get on your knees, you pray, then you get back up, and then it's time to hear the word from the priest. And then after you hear the word from the priest, then it's time to drink the blood of Jesus and eat the body of the Son, which is Jesus, eat the body of the Jesus. And then after that, it's time to go. Like, that was prayer. But going to the mosque and praying is a whole different spiritual experience. I'm talking about, you are literally putting your hands down first. As you get down on your knees, hand down first, and you come in with your nose, head forward, everything. It's just like, it's a different kind of prayer. And you feel so great afterwards. Like, after you're done praying, you feel so great. Every time I go to the mosque and I pray, as soon as I'm done praying, it is very difficult. When I say difficult, it's very difficult for me to just get up and go. No, like, it's like I want to sit there and literally just run through everything that I've been stressed out about, everything that's been a blessing, because that's the things that I also say thank you for. I say thank you for, the blessings as well. I just thank Allah, man. I'm like, Allah, like, I don't know why I'm in this position, but I just want to thank you. And then, also talk about, certain maybe stresses I'm going through, or certain, things that are going on in my life. I whether ask Allah for forgiveness or I ask Allah to help me and guide me, And then after that, it's like, I just sit there and I just try to, and it's so simple, guys. It's literally so simple. When you're at the mosque and you're sitting down with your legs, folded, everything becomes quiet. There could be other people in the mosque, everything becomes quiet, and you're literally zoned, listening.
Whoa, really?
You're literally just listening. And some people would say, well, what are you listening for, Mr. Watwa? And honestly, guys, I'm listening for the angels that be around me that are just saying, yo, Mr. Watwa, keep going. The angels that protect you, Mr. Watwa, keep going. You're doing great. You are doing great. Keep going. No matter if you feel like you're not, keep going, and never quit. Allah is watching and Allah is proud. And those are the things that I be sitting there and I just be like, woo, it's time to get up and go, Yo, man, that was, wow. Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
And number 1, I know you guys are like, what is number 1? But remember, I told you at the beginning that they're not in order, so one is more than the other one. But the number 1 thing is that made me, why I decided to convert to Islam is because I want to die as a Muslim. I really feel that in my heart that being a Muslim and dying as a Muslim, to me, it's going to make me more closer to my deen. It's also going to make me be able to take my deeds with me, because once you become Muslim, you really don't think about material things anymore. You don't think about having the best, like, as far as like, oh, well, I'm trying to impress my peers in a sense, so I need to go get this. I'm not even thinking about that. Like, that stuff literally left my mind right now. I'm literally thinking about the deeds that I can do. The deeds that I can do and take with me. So when Allah is asking me what are the things that I did on this earth, in this dunya that we're living in right now, what did I do? I'm able to let him know my deeds can speak for me. So I can go to that place, Jannah. That's where we're all trying to go. We're trying to go to Jannah. That's number one as far as out of 5. That's number one. I want to die as a Muslim. And I just thank Allah, man, alhamdulillah, man, that I am Muslim. And honestly, guys, if I go today, I don't want no one to cry, okay? If I was to go today, I don't want no one to cry, because I became a Muslim and I died as a Muslim and I did as much deeds as I can. And honestly, guys, it was Allah's plan and I accomplished as much as I can. But if I continue on, if I wake up tomorrow and I get another breath, then that means I get another day to continue my deeds and continue my prayers and continue getting close to Allah and continue that oneness. You know what I'm saying? Inshallah, ameen, ameen, ameen. So yeah, guys, that's the 5 reasons, man. 5 reasons why I became Muslim, why I converted to Islam. So Watwa family, get down in the comment section. Let me know 5 reasons why you converted to Islam. And also, if you are a part of another religion, please let me know the 5 reasons why you're a part of that religion, because I will be in the comment section reading all of you guys' comments. And I hope, inshallah, I will see you guys tomorrow. So please give my salams to your family and friends. And inshallah, guys, we will make it to Jannah. All of us, everyone in the Watwa family will make it to Jannah. Inshallah, ameen, ameen, ameen. All right, guys, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Please, take care. Mwah! Stay safe.